There we go. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to all of y'all. Not just any Monday evening, it's the Monday after the Super Bowl. Yeah, now it's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all of y'all. Let me start by saying SKD143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all of the reality fans of the world out there. And I especially love you guys that are hanging out with me on Valentine's night. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. And now we're going to take this. We'll go about an hour or so. We're going to make sure we shut it down before Big Brother, because just like last week, we've got Big Brother premiering. I hadn't premiered 20-something years ago. We've got another episode of Big Brother tonight, Celebrity Big Brother 3. And I don't want to interfere with that, so I'll make sure I shut it down and give y'all plenty of time to then get the TV set up and watch. It is going to be an incredibly exciting Big Brother tonight. I think we're going to be, I imagine we'll talk about pretty much Big Brother for the next hour. And I'm all in for that. You know what? The last two seasons, All Stars, kind of boring because it was all too predictable. There wasn't any drama with that big alliance. Last season, better, but still with the Cookout Alliance as dominant as they were, not near as much excitement as we expected. This season, even though it's celebrities, even though it's only 29 days or whatever, I gotta say it's been okay. I think they did a pretty good job of casting celebrities, which has got to be a tough task to do. All right, before going further, let me shout out real quick some of you guys out there because I appreciate y'all so much. Paula Scarwell, happy Valentine's Day, Paula. David Buchanan, Brian Hostetler, Ma is angry. Mark Taylor, all my friends are. I hope y'all are all doing fantastic. Rich Cat Ranch as well, Lawrence Santiago, Kiki, Julia Shepard, Elisha, Tammy Flanagan. And Tammy saying, I work overnights, but caught the beginning and I wanted to show some love. Well, Tammy, right back at you, my friend. I appreciate it so much. Now, y'all all keep in mind, if for some reason you can't see the show on Monday night, and I get it, real life interferes with what we do sometimes, right? And we'll talk about that a little bit. But if that ever happens, it's always available on replay, and I'm happy to always have that out there for you guys. Noella Baez, Elisha, Joshy P, Mondo Trash Show. Well, howdy, Mondo Trash Show. That's quite the name. Tonight might be torture and sad. Kind of dreading. Are you talking about Big Brother or just something else? And Linda Latoya as well. Happy Valentines to all of y'all. And saying, I hope Shayna wins. There's a lot of people that are kind of feeling like that. But let's see. Some of the questions as I went through this real quick. Marlos, let's talk about the first one. Brian Hostetler had asked about once Chris Kattan quit, do you think he gets to vote for the winner? You know, I don't know. Normally when you quit, you do not get to vote for the winner. But in this situation, there's going to be 9 jurors, supposedly. And if there's going to be 9 jurors, then you would think that if he doesn't get a vote, then suddenly it could be a 4-4 tie. And that's the last thing CBS wants. They've never had a 4-4 tie or a tie of any sort, I think, on that final vote of Big Brother. I've heard, though, there's a tiebreaker in place, and I just can't remember what it was. Maybe America should get to decide. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the case. In the case of Chris Kattan, now, first of all, let me say this. He quit. And I used to, before I went in the house, I was like, man, if you quit Survivor, Big Brother, whatever, forget you. You just, you quitter, get out of here. And I don't ever want to have anything to do with you, senior, or anything else on that. I have softened up since I've been in the house. I understand from a stress standpoint, all the stuff that kicks in. If you quit just because you're upset that things aren't going your way and you just sour grapes and all that, well, then I may still not have a whole lot of respect for your game. But I get it. I get it what happens. Chris Kattan looks so miserable in that house, right? I mean, I just felt for the guy. I wanted to show up outside the studio and be a wall yeller, but don't yell any strategy. Just yell over the wall. Chris, it's gonna be okay. Get settled. It'll be fine. Have another piece of cake. I just felt for him. And so I know if I could see it that easily, we all, can you imagine how much it must have been affecting him on the inside? I'm not sure he knew what he's getting into. So with all of that in mind, we all know what our breaking points are. We all know what we can handle, what we can't handle. So I don't hold anything against Chris for leaving. But with all that being said, I don't think he should vote on the final. I'd like to see that final vote get turned over to the public. These are celebrities after all, right? So why not just have, maybe you still have America's favorite player or something, but why not say, okay, America, you get the final say or the first vote on who wins, takes this thing home. It seems like the natural thing to do. Let us vote. And who would we vote for? If you turned it over to the American public to watch, would we vote for who we truly thought played the best game? Would we vote for who we thought would screw over who we considered to be the villain the most? Would we just try to screw up the whole thing and vote for Lamar Odom just for the heck of it? I don't know. We've seen in American Idol and things like that campaigns to vote for the worst rather than the best. Y'all remember William Hung? She bangs. Yeah, he got a lot of votes. So I don't know. I'd turn it over to the American public is what I'd do. All right, Mark Taylor, do you think Kirkpatrick screwed up his own game? Yeah, and what did you get your wife for Valentine's Day? All right, we'll talk about Valentine's Day too. But yeah, Kirkpatrick, yeah, he did. He was too honest. I mean, I get that he was willing to potentially allow himself to get, not as though he had a say in it, but he knew there was a chance that if the veto was used, that he could go up instead. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened once Carson was pulled off the block by Shayna. So not only did Chris kind of mess up his game, but Shayna messed her game up as well. I saw on the live feed yesterday, she was saying something about, oh, Chris, I hope wherever you are, you know that, how badly I screwed up using that veto on you, or using that veto, letting you on the block, right? Screwed you up, screwed me up. Yeah, it did. Chris's big mistake, though, wasn't just the fact that he seemed okay going up on the block, which you never want to do, but that when Misha had talked to him and she'd said, okay, I've got to know if I pull Carson off, I've got to have enough votes to, how did it work out? That if I put you up there, that you're still going to vote out. Was it Cynthia? I guess that's the way it worked. Yeah, it's been a few nights since then. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what I can't make you promises that I may break on down the road. He wouldn't tell Misha what she wanted to hear. So as soon as that happened, oh, that's what it was. Yeah, as soon as that happened, she said, well, man, I'm not putting up Todd, because that was the whole idea. Let's put up Todd, and then they were going to vote out Todd instead, so Cynthia and Carson are both safe. Chris wouldn't make that promise to not vote that direction, and so she put him up instead. That's what killed Chris's game. I get it, and he'll go home saying, well, I played with integrity and all that. I get that part. I truly do, but that one time, you probably should have just kind of said, yeah, you're in power, so you tell me how to vote, and I'll vote that way. I said that a few times during my season when it was up against Kat, and they wanted all kinds of, oh, you got to join us, you got to turn against Mickey and Holly and all of that. And it's like, yeah, I'll promise you that. I'll promise you the moon. I'll promise you, hey, whatever it takes for me to stay alive this week, I'll deal with the backlash and the promises next week. Chris didn't do that, so he left the game with integrity, but yeah, he kind of created his own issues with that. So there you go. All right, Valentine's Day. What did I get my wife for Valentine's Day? Well, there's a couple things. First of all, we've got a nice little fancy dinner waiting for us when we get done. So we'll be doing that, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of details. But the other thing I got, and here's the thing, we were a little busy this weekend. It's kind of a Valentine's theme, so let me throw that out there. We spent all weekend over in Austin, Texas, because my son, Daniel Hogg, got married Saturday night to my now daughter-in-law, Jacqueline Hogg. So my son got married. It was a fantastic celebration all weekend long. So we were living the love this entire weekend, and all the planning that was going on ahead of time. But because of that, made it a little tough. We got back exhausted last night. Y'all can only imagine. I'm sure you can imagine how much goes into a wedding. Being, bride and groom, they're busy, but the parents of the groom and the bride are pretty busy too. So we got back. Our Valentine's Day last night was just go to bed early and sleep all night long. So we did that. So this is kind of a low-key Valentine's Day. I'm here talking to you guys before I go celebrate my Valentine's. So you're welcome. Nah, I wouldn't have it anyway. I wouldn't leave y'all stranded on Valentine's Day. But the other thing I got from my wife that we're really excited about doing is one of those hand casting kits. Have you seen it? You can, I guess you could do just a single hand of your own or something if you want. You can have all kinds of symbols and gigums or whatever else you want to display with your hand symbols. But we bought one that's big enough for 2 hands. So we're going to mix it up. It's some kind of gel. You hold hands together, you stick it in the gel, you wait 5 minutes till it hardens up, and then you very carefully wiggle your hand out, and they say it's like super thick jello. So you do that, and then you can fill it back up with plaster. You peel off the jello, and now you got a nice little handprint for all of posterity. So yeah, just sitting there thinking so much about my son and his new wife and all, and we'll do something kind of special for my wife too. So we got a hand casting kit. Yeah, it's cheesy, but I don't know. It's something that we'll be able to look at from this point forward. Little kids, you always put their handprints in the plaster and all that, right? Well, we'll do a step up. We'll get the hands plastered together. So that's the kind of the gift I got from my wife. Now, I wanted to talk about Valentine's Day. Before we talk, I know y'all say, oh my God, just talk about Celebrity Big Brother. That's what we came here for. I get it. But before I talk about that, I want to kind of talk about Valentine's Day and my season of Big Brother because there is some overlap. Here's the thing. Valentine's Day of 2019, I had not even tried out for the show yet, but Valentine's Day came out that year, and I wanted to do something a little different. So I researched origami online, figured out how to do origami roses, and made my wife like half a dozen roses, made a little origami vase, and put it all together in a little the vase, little paper flowers for that Valentine's Day. And here's one of them. It's kind of hard to see with the backdrop I've got here, but you can see it's a little origami rose. I'm actually pretty proud of that because I am not the artiste typically, but this one worked out okay. So I got a little origami rose. When I won HOH, when I won the battle back and then I won HOH, I got my HOH basket, and my most treasured item in the entire basket was this rose that my wife had put in there for me. And she knew that I knew exactly what she meant when she sent it. So it was her sending all her love back to me. And it was amazing. So I had that. I was so proud of it. I wore it from that point on. Every time there's a live show, I'd try to pin it on. I wore it. I wore it the amazing night I won the Veto competition. I wore it the night I walked out of the house. I wore it for finale night. So that was my way of sending the message back to her of, I love you and I'm here for you and I can't wait to see you again. So there it is. Something I did on Valentine's Day. Never thought it'd show up on national TV just a few months later, but it did, and I've treasured it from this point on. Now, here's one thing y'all may not know. I wore it during the live competition for that double eviction night, and forgot about it. I was going to take it off before we did the evictions themselves, and I just plain forgot about it. So much going on. We get outside to do the Veto competition or the HOH competition, which involved putting that puzzle together to make the long hockey rinks, and then you had to knock a ball down into the goal, the one that Nicole won, but I came pretty close. I started doing the competition, and as I leaned down, I saw that rose fall off right in the space where I was getting ready to put one of my puzzle pieces. And it's like, oh my gosh, do I just put the puzzle piece down anyway and crush the rose? Or do I take just a few seconds to grab that rose, throw it out of the way, and then put the puzzle piece down? And as much as I'm cutthroat and ruthless and everything else, I couldn't crush the rose. So I stopped for just a second. I grabbed that rose. I threw it off to the side. Then I put the puzzle piece down, and it was fine. I'm still glad I did it. A few seconds, would that make the difference to win over Nicole? Well, maybe. But Nicole won anyway, and so it worked out better for the end. Then when I got done with that competition, they immediately got us back inside, got us ready to do nominations, and we came back and did the Veto competition. I won that. I was so excited about winning. I forgot to go back and get that rose. And so then I got inside, and they shut down the backyard after that whole episode was over so they could tear everything down. So I immediately ran into the diary room and said, you have got to go out there. Whatever you do, grab that rose. I'm going to be in here every 5 minutes until you tell me you've got that rose. And Big Brother said, hold on, Cliff. Yeah, we should be able to get it. Hold on. And sure enough, about 2 minutes later, they came back and said, Cliff, we got it. We'll put it in storage room in a little bit. So it all worked out for the end. But yeah, that was a very, very important possession. I will hold on to forever. All right. With that being said, let's talk about some more things. Lawrence Santiago. So is Carson not trying to get Misha out anymore? You know what? Yes, it's hard. You're in that house. You're only getting bits and pieces of information. Who do you trust when people are coming to you? And Carson and Todrick, they've got a relationship outside the house. They were judges on RuPaul, I think, a few times. So they have friendships outside. Does that mean that you're a little more likely to trust that person if they come to you and say something? Well, perhaps, because all I know, if if Todrick and Misha were all about playing with integrity, and Carson and Cynthia, we're telling you about Shayna playing both sides and all that. We're playing it. We're telling you that just because we don't like the way that game's being played. We want you to know, all right, whatever. And you'll say that. But when you say that on the week where Misha and Todrick are in major problems, where Carson's the one that owns the HOH, hasn't Carson and Cynthia spent at least just a second of time and said, wow, that is awful convenient that they just happen to be telling us that information while I, Carson, have the HOH? You would think that would raise some alarm bells, right? While I was in the house, anytime people came to me with information, I always tried to make sure to remember that they aren't telling me that because they want me to feel good. They're telling me that because they have some kind of ulterior motive. And a lot of that came down to, as well as, when are they telling me that? Are they telling me right before a veto competition? Are they telling me, everyone is famous. It seems like everyone would come up to you right before an HOH and make all kinds of nice to you and friendly. And, I've always respected your game, Cliff. And all of this because no one knew who was going to win the next HOH. So Big Brother House, just a few hours before the HOH competition, is incredibly nice. Everyone's so nice to each other. That day, most of the time, the feeds aren't on because they're getting ready for the live show and all that. But yeah, we're also friendly to each other. We're best friends in that house for those few hours because you don't know who's going to win the HOH. But yeah, I think Carson still wants Misha out. It just suddenly seems like she's not his big target anymore. And I don't get that. I talked about in my overnight recap, which if y'all haven't been watching, I do every morning an overnight recap. It's about 20 minutes this morning, but it's about 15 minutes long, talking about what happened overnight. But because we've got so many nights of episodes, I kind of covered the episodes as well. But I mentioned a little bit of a similarity this year to what happened in my season, because in my season, we ended up the last 7 people. We had 3 couples. We had Tommy and Christy, we had Mickey and Holly, and then we had Nicole and myself. And then Jessica was kind of the lone wolf by herself. And so you had these 3, and I think we knew that Christy and Mickey really weren't going to ever work together. So for the most part, we figured those 2 couples would stay against each other. And there was a little bit of fighting going on for Nicole and myself. Which side were we going to gravitate to? And of course, we told Christy and Tommy, oh yeah, we're working with y'all. Told Mickey and Holly, oh yeah, we're working with y'all. I feel it's a little bit like that this season, in that you've got Carson and Cynthia, you've got Todrick and Misha, you've got Lamar and Todd, which seems like they're both trying to fight for those 2 a little bit. And then you've got Shayna off on the side, who theoretically is aligned with, or theoretically, I think she was aligned with Carson and Cynthia until all this stuff hit. And so you kind of have the 3 couples plus the lone wolf, the same way you had my season. The difference is Jessica went home not because anyone viewed her as a big threat or anything like that, but just because, I don't know. I'm glad it happened because I was on the block against Jessica. I think that Mickey and Holly and Nicole, all 3, did not want me to go home. Felt like Jessica was going to be a much stronger support for Christy. So, it was just a numbers game at that point in time for us. Todrick and Misha, and I have seen so much hate directed to those 2. It's such a passionate fan base. And I've seen a lot of hate directed against those 2. But love them or hate them, Todrick has done an amazing job, and Misha, but I think Todrick's more the brains behind it, has done an amazing job of taking a week or cycle where one of them should be going home. And Misha, really, since Carson made a promise to Todrick that he wouldn't put him on the block, Misha should be going home, as big a threat as she is, and that somehow they shifted it over to Shayna, who's won a couple of vetoes. So it's not as though she's a slouch either, but she doesn't have the connections or the relationships that make her as strong a threat as Misha. And Todrick managed to convince Carson and Cynthia to flip. It blows me away. I'm still amazed that it happened. It'd be like during my season having Mickey on the block against Jessica, and then everyone decides that Jessica's a bigger target than Mickey. I just don't get it. But they did a fabulous job. So yeah, I think Carson still wants Misha out. It's just he wants Shayna out more, it seems like. And part of it's because Cynthia's so upset, feeling like she was played. And so I think she's egging Carson on just a little bit as well. You got to forget about the past. Yeah, Misha was playing both sides at one point, but she kind of drew her battle lines when she pulled Carson off the block. I think at that point, everyone should have known that, okay, she's declared a side. So they should have stuck with it. They would have had a strong supporter, I think, in Shanna. Yeah, you'd be cautious, but still, they would have had support. All right, Maureen Carroll. So disappointed in Carson Cynthia for turning on and Shayna. I agree. I absolutely agree. They, say, oh, she burned us in the past, or she would have been more than happy to burn us if the odds had changed. Sure, she was trying to survive just like everyone in the house. So recognize that she may not be as tight with the two of you as you are with each other, which is going to be the case. But Shanna, I think, would have stuck with Carson and Cynthia at least through a few more rounds, at least until Misha and Todrick were out. And then at that point, who knows? Shanna maybe, if I'm Shanna, after I get rid of Misha and Todrick, then I immediately turn around to Todd and Lamar and say, man, this couple right over here, they are the dominant couple. The three of us need to team up or else none of us are winning it. So yeah, maybe Shanna doesn't work with Carson and Cynthia forever, but she at least works with them, I think, from a voting standpoint to get out the couple of big threats on the other side. So I feel like so many people have just destroyed their game in different ways over the past 72 hours or so. It's incredible. I've enjoyed it as a viewer, right? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot enjoyable watching some jawing at each other and all that. And Lord knows there's some of that happening. But yeah, I think a lot of people just played a little too hard and took things just a little too personal at this point in time. All right, Mark Taylor, who's your pick for America's favorite player? Carson? Carson, yeah, maybe. I mean, Carson is always, he's always good for, they've got him doing so many jokes and stuff in the diary room. And here's what y'all may not know. Most of the time, like I do those, before the wife and jokes like that. Most of those were organic in that I came up with that line. I just said as a throwaway thing, and all of a sudden, next thing I hear is, "Hey, Cliff, did you give us some more of those before the wife jokes or whatever?" So it's like, yeah, I'll be your comic. So for the most part, when you go in there and talk, it's just you saying things. But every once in a while, Big Brother will throw in a little bit. Oh, it's a funny little punchline or something, and they'll launch onto something or really focus on getting you to tell a goofy joke or two. Even that point, a few times they said, "Oh, Cliff, how tell us a joke. Give us." And they try to get you in that mood. I feel like Carson probably goes in there, and every time they say, "Okay, Carson, we need a little joke right here about your hair or your lack of eyebrows, or how can you tie that into the stuff that just happened?" And Carson, they just let him go. Yeah, I could easily see Carson winning America's favorite player. I personally. And I like Carson. I was cheering for him. I'm perfectly happy if he wins. He deserves it if he wins. I kind of like Chris Kirkpatrick. I thought he was doing well up until he kind of threw his own game away. I still like the guy, though. He won't win America's favorite player, but I liked him. Shayna, she's a super fan. She played a strategy maybe similar to what I would have played in the house. I feel like she's getting piled on. Does she deserve some of it? Yeah, if I was her, I would have come clean. I would have said, yes, I was playing both sides. I had a Final Four with them, just like I did with y'all. I'm trying to survive the game. That's all it is, guys. And I would have fessed up to everything. And then I would have said, but that was 2 weeks ago, or in Big Brother time. That was several cycles ago. Everything's changed since then, guys. And I would have tried to save myself by talking about the difference in time rather than basically denying things that she really did do. So when they started not trusting her on a few of those things, well, then suddenly Todrick and Misha feel like they can pile on. And it seems like they're just throwing out more and more things. So I feel like Shanna's gotten piled on, and it only makes me kind of want to vote for her and cheer her on just a little bit more, just to kind of upset the people who are still in the house. Y'all know what I mean, right? So I don't know about, I could see it being Carson, but if enough people get upset enough, it could be Shanna or someone else. We'll see. It could be Lamar Odom just for the fun of it, because he is fun to watch most of the time. He was sick last night, so I hope he's okay. Lawrence, how does Lamar not understand the veto after going through 3 veto comps? I'm still sitting there saying, does Lamar really not understand the game to the level he's explaining? Or has someone just whispered to him at some point saying, hey, everyone's really thinking it's kind of funny that you're still not quite there with the rules or anything? I don't know. I'd like to think it may be a little more the latter, that he's kind of playing it up a little bit, but I'm not sure that's the case. I think Lamar just came in and they said, oh, hey, you just hang out in the house once a week. You have a competition. You vote someone out. If you go home, Lamar, well, we'll still, that's just part of it. It's okay. And, you'll still vote for someone at the end. They may not even say that to him. I don't know. But I feel like he really didn't understand that this wasn't just making a quick shot on a TV show and then you do your thing and you go home. I don't know. I don't know, but he's fun. It makes it a little dangerous because he's a little bit unpredictable because he doesn't understand it. I certainly am not going to Lamar for strategic advice. I watch some of the feeds. Todd, of all people, because Todd's figuring out a little bit. Todd, I don't think, had a real good grasp to start, but he was telling Lamar saying, no, if Cynthia's not going to vote for Carson. So if they don't do this, Lamar, you can't count on that vote. And Lamar didn't have a clue from a strategy of, if they do this, then this person's going to vote here. And this, Lamar was lost. He really didn't know. So that makes it a little scary. I'd like to see Lamar win an HOH just to see what he does. Who would he go against? Would he go against Carson and Cynthia, or would he go against Todrick and Misha? Or would he just go after one of each and say, y'all guys figure out who's a strong one and I'll work with the other one? I don't know. But yeah, Lamar, steep learning curve. Oh, that's not good. I guess I got my alarm set telling me Big Brother's going to be coming on in 30 minutes. I got to pay attention, right? Where are we going with that? Lamar, I don't know what he would do, and that's a little bit scary. All right, Rich Cat Ranch. Do we know if Chris Kattan watched the show before being cast? I feel like he may have said something that a lot of people say when they're a recruit or really not a fan, where they say, oh yeah, I watched some episodes. But there's a difference between just watching a few episodes and saying, oh yeah, okay, I got that, versus actually watching the strategy that takes place. And I think that's the difference. Yeah, he probably watched them. He probably saw a few of the competitions and things like that. He probably did not watch enough to understand the strategy of, do you play aggressive at the start? Do you lay back? Do you find a meat shield, some strong player that you latch onto and you let them be the target and you just come in behind them? I don't think he watched any of it enough to pick up on that. And I don't know. I think I was going to say, if I'm a Big Brother producer, even though the celebrities, I think I'm going to maybe say, y'all got to watch at least a season. And we're going to ask you questions about it to make sure you understand before you go on the show. But having said that, maybe Big Brother likes to have a few people in there who are clueless, because it makes for some interesting, funny TV at times when they don't understand. I'm just worried. I don't want Lamar Odom at the end when he's up there on the jury, because every time he's cast a vote, he's voting to send someone home. It's bad if your name gets mentioned in a vote. I don't want Lamar at the very end to cast a vote for someone thinking that he's punishing them when he's actually giving them $250,000. I hope they spend a lot of time explaining that you're voting for who wins the money now, Lamar, not the other way around. You're not voting to send someone home. You're voting for the money. I don't want someone to win because someone else didn't understand the rules. Y'all get that, right? But yeah, I don't know. Lamar, he's a funny guy, but he's a little lost. All right, Linda Katori, why is Cynthia so gullible? When it comes to listening to Todrick, but not Shannon? Is it because Shannon's a beautiful girl? Is she jealous? Well, y'all ladies tell me that. Let me know that. That's things that y'all pick up on much more than us guys ever do. Is there jealousy involved in that? Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I think it's more this, and I could be wrong. I think it's more this, though. Cynthia and Misha weren't really aligned together from were they ever aligned? Cynthia was never part of the Athletic Alliance or anything else. So I don't think the two of them ever really thought they were working together. Now I know there was talk about a Final Four at one point. Yeah, I guess they were kind of together, but that went away so fast. I don't think in her heart Cynthia ever thought that she really had Misha's back or vice versa. I just don't think it was the case. Cynthia with Shayna, I really think though she got strung along. I think she thought there was more to her connection with Shayna than she found out was the case. And so, is it some jealousy? Well, maybe, but it also may just be that she just feels like she was played more by Shayna than she was with Misha. I've heard, I can't remember if it's her or Carson, or they talk back and forth, but between the two of them, I've heard conversations before about, Misha, she's a strong threat, she's a strong player, she may win this game, but she's right there, she's honest, she'll just tell you the way it is, she doesn't hem-haw around, and I respect that kind of gameplay. So maybe that's part of it, is that Cynthia feels like she can read Misha better, or she, good or bad, that she trusts what Misha's doing, she understands what Misha is doing better than Shayna's game. That could be part of it. I haven't watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, so I don't know what her background was on that particular show and how she related to the other housewives on that as well. Those of you who've watched may have a little more insight than I do, but yeah, I don't know. I just think she's taking it a little too personal. I just, water under the bridge, what happened in the past. It's not about what you did to me 2 weeks ago. It's what can you do for me tomorrow? And that's what she needs to focus on. Shayna approached her and said, hey, I'd still like to work together. And Cynthia said, yeah, I'm not talking game with you today, girl. We'll do it later. I think she should have just gone ahead and, you kiss up. Even if you're not going to follow through, say, yeah, I'd love to work with you, Shayna. We can get past this. Because you don't know if Shayna may not be in power by another couple hours. We'll find out. All right, Terry Lee. It's sad as a super fan to see them trust the other side so easily. I know. Yeah, you would think by that time, and maybe that's part of it. When you have 16 people in a house in a regular season, by the time you get to the last, dozen folks or so, you've gotten out the people who are probably a little more gullible, a little more easily fooled and all that. For the most part, I think you get better game players, right? I mean, I made it to 4. I feel like, I believed 1 or 2 things that maybe I shouldn't have. But for the most part, I feel like I understood the game and the strategy more than a lot of people. So I think the gullible people usually go home earlier. But when you only have 11 people, we're not even, are we halfway through? I guess we're about halfway through. We will be tonight, but no, we'll still have 6 people. So yeah, it's just, it allows more people that maybe don't quite understand the game to get just a little bit further down the road. But I feel your pain. I like to see the gameplay between Todrick and Carson, for example. I don't want them working together because they're the 2 most strategic players. I want them playing chess, and I hate that chess, not checkers. Such an overused cliche statement. I don't want to hear that anymore. But I do want to see 2 very strategic players matching wits against each other and figuring out who's going to win and how to defeat the other one. And that's why I applaud the move they made to get Misha's target off her back and put a lot more of it on Shayna. So yeah, there's definitely some gullible people, but hey, they're celebrities. They get a little more latitude than the rest of us do. If these were regular players and not celebrities, as much as we're kind of laughing and criticizing and judging some of these players for their gameplay, if they were regular and not celebrities, man, we would be raking them over the coals to the next level, the Uber level, right? Because as celebrities, I feel like we let them get away with just a little bit because, hey, they're celebrities, whatever. But we don't expect them to be necessarily super fans. Whereas regular season, you better know a lot more about how you play this game if you want to get and have fan support out there, I think. All right, what else? We've got Fred Benson. What happened after Big Brother 21 went off the air? Do you still talk to the other big BB21 house guests? Yeah, I do. I saw Kat in let's see what I did. Kat and Nicole and I went up to Canada and did a little promotional appearance there, which is so much fun. I saw Kat in Dallas-Fort Worth area when I did a little meet and greet there. She came over and her parents ate with my wife. Our families met and everything. And Kat came down for a wedding. I was going to, in fact, it was just this a couple of weeks ago. I was busy with wedding planning of my own, so we weren't able to hook up. But let's say that. So yeah, I talked to her a lot. I went to Hearts of Reality in December and met most of the cast. Who all was there? Christy was there. Tommy was there. Myself was there. Ovi was there. Nicole was there. Sam was there. Who am I missing out? Holly was there. Sis was there. Jack was not there. Mickey was not there. Kimmy was not there. David wanted to be there. Had some issues with airfare. And Nick couldn't be there because he had his new baby at home. And that's much better reason to stay home than anything else. So, yeah, we all talked for the most part. Oh, and Bella was not there. We all talked for the most part. Now, obviously, we had some showmances in our season, right? And none of those showmances stayed together. They all had their issues. They all broke apart. So, you know, they don't, you don't necessarily see all of them in the same room at the same time. But for the most part, and everyone's got some beef here and there. I am open to all 15 other people. I would welcome any one of the 15 with open arms, go eat dinner with them, talk about Big Brother and all that. I enjoy hanging out with those other 15 players that were in my season because I view this thing as a game. It was just a game, just like I'm playing Monopoly or poker or Parcheesi or anything else. You play the game, you get done, and then we go back to real life. So I don't hold anything against anyone that was in my season. I love them all. I hope the best for all of them. But not everyone feels that way. I'm really curious to see some Big Brother this season, the Celebrity Big Brother, as much kind of down and dirty, throwing people under the bus talk and kind of personal comments as well. Are they going to be able to get back together and be friendly with each other? Last season, Big Brother 23, though, that group's really tight. All of them, not just the cookout, all of them seemed very tight. And that's kind of what I wanted for my season. I got it for the most part, but I'm really curious to see what we'll get with this Big Brother Celebrity season as well. I don't know. But yeah, I like all 15 of my castmates. A shared experience, an incredible shared experience. What an experience. All right, Linda Latore, how about a double eviction? Tonight or at some point this season? I don't know. I thought they would have a double eviction this season, perhaps, but now that Chris went home early, they kind of have, in order to keep the same episodes, that's one less eviction that they've got. So I have a feeling they probably got rid of the double eviction. And here's why. And I may be wrong, but here's why I think that could be the case. These Monday night episodes, I'm really enjoying the idea that you have a veto competition and then immediately following up the eviction. It's kind of a pseudo double eviction, right? It's not as big and sporadic and everything as a or hectic as the true double eviction, but you still have a veto that's won, and someone on the spur of the moment has to decide what they're going to do with that veto, and then based on that, you immediately have the voting that's taking place. I like it. I like that format. I'd like to see that in a regular Big Brother season. One or two more live episodes. But I'd maybe like to see it surprise a house guest. I don't necessarily have a double eviction, but just on a live show, say something like, all right, we're immediately going to do, I don't know how you do that without being a double, because we know in the house, if they suddenly say, okay, we're not going to do a veto ceremony on Saturday or veto competition on Saturday. Well, then we kind of know, and we're going to do a live show on Sunday or something. Well, we kind of know something's up, but I still would like to see some way to do it because I really like the live format of these veto competitions. Now, it limits you what you can do. I was thinking this would be a perfect time for Otev to make an appearance, right? Wouldn't that be fun? Shayna was talking about that, saying that there was one she couldn't remember what the name of it was, but she said, there's one I don't want to do. It involves running down a mudslide and finding pieces and running up. It's horrible. But this would be a perfect time for Otev. But because it's a live eviction, I don't think you can do that. Otev takes too long to do. It'll have to be some kind of question answer. They did that last week, so maybe rolling something like they do in a typical HOH. Remember last season you rolled into the alligators or shark's mouth or whatever it was, pool shark, so it's probably shark. I think it may be something like that, a little bit of a physical challenge, but more kind of a skill type thing. That's what I envisioned for maybe the veto being this evening. Don't know though, but I like those formats. But because we've got some live elements already taking place, they may knock out the double eviction just because they need to fill in that extra. They can't afford to get rid of another person since Chris left early. Just my opinion. They may prove me wrong come Thursday, but we'll see. Lori Line, we only get a week between the Celebrity Big Brother finale and Big Brother Canada. Will you be watching Big Brother Canada? Oh yeah, guarantee I will. Yeah, of course I will. Um, I'm looking forward to it. I love Big Brother Canada. I mean, I'm a homeboy. I'll always like my big brother, my house, and all that. But I think they do a great job up in Canada with their version of it as well. Their house, their themes up there are beautiful. I just whoever does their set design up there does a fantastic job. Uh, so now I like Big Brother Canada. The big question isn't gonna whether I'll be watching or not, but will I be watching the live feeds of Big Brother Canada? And maybe, maybe not. It depends on how hard it is to pick up. I'm very hit and miss trying to find those live feeds. I go find all these links, and so it seems like sometimes I can watch it. Sometimes things just stall out and it never shows up. I get frustrated and I just shut it down. So I will definitely watch every episode, but I don't know if I'll watch the live feeds as religiously as I'll watch them here in the United States. Now, part of it, at least 2 seasons ago, I guess, when Jamar was in there and all that, they had a curfew. House guests couldn't stay up till 5 in the morning if they wanted to, like they can here in the U.S. Because I remember Jamar making faces at the camera and Big Brother saying, "It's time for bed. It's time." And he didn't want to go to bed. Finally, had to go get in bed. So there they had kind of have a curfew. I guess the cameramen maybe I was gonna say more unions, not more unions than California, but maybe the cameramen have a rule that we only film certain hours. Something I don't know. So you don't get as many live feeds. It doesn't seem like up in Canada as you do down here. But yeah, I'll definitely watch the show. I'm excited about it. Isn't that great? This is Big Brother season. Celebrity Big Brother, Canada Big Brother, and then you go right back to the U.S. version, and suddenly it's September, and we're counting down till the next season. Yeah, this is the most wonderful time of the year in a lot of ways. Not just because of Big Brother. I actually do things other than Big Brother in real life. But yeah, this is reality TV is kind of what I watch on TV a lot of. 7:45 already. All right, we're going to shut down here in just a second. We've got, let's see, what else did I have on here? What else am I going to talk about? Let's see. We've got a lot of Big Brother. And yeah, it's going to be exciting tonight. We've got, I talked about Daniel getting married. I talked about Big Brother. I talked about Rose. Let me go through these comments and see. Do you have any ideas who's carrying the live feeds for Big Brother Canada? No, I don't. I want to say Global TV or something, but I'm not sure if that's who actually handles the live feeds as well. So let's see. And then I was trying to think if I had any questions left over from last week, but I just can't remember them. Let's see. We only get a week between it. Why do you think Jackson and Holly kept with you and Nicole? They view you as easy to beat, or did it have to do with gentleman's agreement partnership? I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both. I'd like to think it's a little bit of both. We work together. So that was certainly part of it. But I don't. Yeah, I'm sure they viewed it as a little easier to beat than Tommy and Christy. But you know, we were all going against each other at that point in time. So it is what it is. All right, guys. 7:45. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. That gives you plenty of time to get ready for tonight's Big Brother. I'm so excited. So the big question, is Shayna going to win this veto? If she does, it screws up a lot of things. If she does Carson then put up Misha? Does he put up Todd? I'm not sure. It depends on how close he may or may not want to work with Misha. And to really gum up the process, if Shayna wins the veto and then she turns around and wins HOH, she's got a target-rich environment. She's got a lot of people that she may potentially go after if she does that. So just for the point of chaos, that's what I'm cheering for tonight. But we'll see what happens. It starts at about 15 minutes, so I'm going to shut it down now. Shut it down for now. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Valentine's Day. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Again, if you get a chance, if you aren't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Please go out and like this video if you would, please. That's always appreciative. And if you want to see the recaps every morning, like I said, about 15 minutes every morning, I'll post about a 15-minute recap of what happened overnight. So you'll always be up to speed with what's going on. But until next Monday, guys, y'all have a fantastic one. SKD143. Cheers, my friends. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.